I am Noriko Bullfoot, and this is Uncut News. The soap opera continues at the Arthur Chung Convention Center as the Guyana Elections Commission has completed the recount of votes for District 8. According to the certificate of the National Vote Recount for District 8, the APNU+AFC was the winner, securing 2,152 votes in the region. This is an increase of 4 votes for the party. The PPP came in a close second with 2,052, compared to the original declaration of 2,049. Newcomers, the Liberty and Justice Party and the New Movement, received 450 votes and 11 votes, respectively. Oddly enough, despite winning this district, the APNU+AFC is the only contesting political party that has not signed the document certifying the results. In fact, this is the 6th district that the APNU+AFC has refused to certify, as the multi-party coalition continues to raise accusations of electoral fraud and other improprieties against the opposing parties, mainly the PPPC. And in other political news, former returning officer for District 4, Claremont Mysterious Spreadsheet Mingo, continues to work for the Elections Commission despite being a major reason for this whole recount business in the first place. In fact, the whole idea of a national recount arose after the results for Region 4 were deemed non-credible by both local and regional observer groups as well as party agents. Literally, everyone but APNU+AFC had rejected Mingo's declaration, as the numbers did not match the statements of poll of observers and party agents. According to Public Relations Officer for GECOM, Yolanda Ward, Mingo has been reassigned as a registration officer for one of GECOM's offices in Region 5. But don't get vexed just yet. While she did not disclose his exact job description, fortunately, Mingo does not have any part in the ongoing recount process. From arresting churchgoers to limers on the street, police in Berbice have charged over 101 persons for breaching the nightly curfew. However, more Berbicians are expected to face the courts in the coming days, according to Regional Commander of East Berbice Quarantine, Senior Superintendent Calvin Brutus.
We've had 50 odd persons already before the court. A number of them already appeared, pled guilty and paid their fines. And we've had a number of other persons' matters still pending because they pled not guilty. Yet there are others who are waiting to hear their matters because the court also had implemented guidelines in respect to their functions during this period, as instructed by the Chancellor, and that was also gazetted as a subset to the main gazetteer. And in that respect, they're only taking a number of 5 to 6 persons per court day for breach of the curfew. So the volume that we have on hand, we're unable to really take all of them to court quickly because of these guidelines which we are following.
Brutus also noted that enforcement of the emergency measures has been difficult, as several business owners have been employing clever means of keeping some non-essential sections of their businesses open. Border enforcement has also become more difficult as operations at the Suriname backtrack have seemingly become more streamlined and coordinated. The commander explained that vehicles reached the boat landing to pick up disembarking passengers within minutes of their arrival. But don't go planning your illegal trip to Suriname just yet. Brutus has pledged to end this practice, with officers actively searching for errant boat operators. Despite the recalcitrant behavior of some residents, there seems to be no increase in cases of the Rona in Berbice. Berbice, you're bad for days. And in education, the world may be in chaos, but that's not stopping the Caribbean Examination Council from administering this year's CSEC and CAPE examinations. Initially postponed amid health concerns, the exams are set to begin on July 13th with the modern language oral examinations, which will run until August 21st, and music practical set to end on July 28th. Candidates will sit English A and English B examinations on July 28th and 29th respectively, while mathematics is slated to be written on July 27th. The deadline for school-based assessments, or SBAs, and internal assessments is June 30th. Locally, the Ministry of Education is determining which students will sit the upcoming examinations using the e-testing modality and which will utilize the traditional paper-based examinations. Approximately 120,000 students are expected to sit the CSEC examinations, while over 30,000 are registered to sit CAPE Caribbean-wide. Let's take a look at business and the economy. Here's some good news for those who are too cheap to pay for proper internet access. As part of the company's In This Together campaign, GT&T's lowest tier Blaze internet subscription has been upgraded from 5 megabits per second to 10 at no extra cost. According to head of GT&T Fixed Services, Jamal Innes, the increase in bandwidth was in order to suit customers' needs during the pandemic. Nevertheless, the company will make the offer permanent for all customers. But to be honest, I don't even know if this is true. I don't believe in torturing myself with such a low bandwidth and slow internet. I mean, you can't even stream Netflix at that bandwidth. According to the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, the global health crisis has caused a 2 to 3 year setback for the regulatory body. The GCAA's Director General, retired Lieutenant Colonel Egbert Field, said there has been a 95% drop in revenue generated by overflights. These flights usually pay to pass through Guyana's airspace when en route to other destinations, and these monies would form the bulk of the authority's revenue. With global travel restrictions in place and reduced air travel, revenue generated from overflights has been deeply affected. As such, Director General Field said the regulatory body intends to approach government to assist with providing support for the next 3 to 4 months to execute its mandate. And in news from the diaspora, last month, the NCTF finally approved the conditional return of over 300 stranded Guyanese. And now the Director General of the GCAA, Lieutenant Colonel Egbert Field, has also disclosed that the first set of Guyanese stranded abroad will arrive back in the country in the second week of June, with the first group coming from Barbados. They will then be followed by those in North America in the third week of June. This will be the first set of Guyanese to be repatriated since the government made the decision to close the nation's airports to international travel on March 18th. And for regional news, CARICOM's elections observation mission today said that up to this point, Suriname has successfully held a free, fair, transparent, and credible election. Preliminary results have put the opposition VHP of Chan Santoki well ahead of the incumbent Desi Bouterse's NDP. The nation went to the polls on March 25th and are currently tabulating the final batch of votes for the elections. While the elections is technically still ongoing, VHP has already formed a coalition that is expected to garner enough support to secure the presidency. Congrats on the election, Suriname. Hopefully no one from the NDP approaches the Surinamese High Court for an injunction on the tabulation process while the president continues to assure the public that the party is not interfering with the process. And finally, K-pop boy band BTS has been forced to apologize for sampling in one of their songs a recording by the infamous cult leader Jim Jones. The band released a statement on Sunday after receiving massive social media backlash for the song What Do You Think by singer Min Young-gi. The song uses a muffled audio sample of a speech used by American preacher turned cult leader Jim Jones in Philadelphia in 1977. The sermon was recorded just 1 year before Jones directed his followers to drink cyanide-laced punch in a mass murder-suicide. The sample says, quote, "Though you are dead, yet you shall live, and he that liveth and believeth shall never die." End quote. In the statement published in the Korea Times, one of the band's managers, Big Hit, said, quote, "The producer on What Do You Think chose the audio in consideration of the overall atmosphere of the track, not knowing the identity of the speaker." End quote. Big Hit also said that Yoongi was, quote, "embarrassed and, quote, felt responsible for the sample's inclusion." For Uncut News, I am Noriko Bulford. Goodbye for now.